Yeah, definitely after doing the cleanses, there's a sense of clarity afterwards. It makes you feel more connected to yourself because you're clearing out your digestive system. So you literally just feel so much clearer and, more in connection to your intuition and your body. And it takes away some of those cravings that you have. So for me, doing cleanses often is really powerful.
Definitely. Have you done the liver cleanse or just the intestinal cleanse?
I've done both.
You've done
And for
both.
me, like I hated doing Epsom salt and oil. I can't stand it every time. Like I can't even put the tiniest bit of oil in my mouth now because I'm traumatized from that experience. And the ZenCleanz liver cleanse, the Forgive, is profound. Like it tastes good. I had a little bit of nausea, but it's nothing like doing the oil. It's very gentle. It didn't stress my body and really good results as well.
How would you say that your experience is different than other types of cleansing?
Yeah, well, I'm a detox coach, and I started off many years ago doing all the extreme cleanses, 30 days of grape juice, nothing but fruit for almost a year, raw veganism. And I tried every single different detox. And what I did is I threw my body completely out of whack. And I was sharing this at the time, this is the best way to detox. And now I specialize in supporting women to detox because for our bodies, we really can do a lot of damage if we do extended cleanses. And so for me, the ZenCleanz products are profound because they're so gentle, but so effective in a really short space of time. So for women that are having hormonal issues, these are fantastic. So we can gently cleanse the body without creating too much stress on the system, depleting them of minerals. And then they have better digestion. They're able to absorb things better. Just everything is just amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I've had many of them on my journey as well. And, the biggest, I think for me, like, I love the one cleanse. Like, it just feels, I love the taste of it. And I love, like, it makes me feel alive. And for me, it was more the after effect and the days that followed that I really kind of had that aha moment because for days and weeks afterwards, I was doing the best cruise of my life. And so was my partner. And we were like, wow, it's just incredible. And for me, it just was just this feeling of it's the enzymes. That's what makes it different. And that's what every other cleanse doesn't have. It doesn't have a live food that's in the body. And the enzymes are literally like little Pac-Men going inside the colon and eating away at everything, which is stuck to the wall. And I've tried everything from charcoal to clays to all these different things. And I think they're actually creating more sludge in the body. They're actually attaching to the colon. And these are all promoted as detox foods because we didn't know how else to get the toxins out. But there's something different with the enzyme products. They're really profound.
it's everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's always this thing with cleansers that we have this huge expectation of getting things out. And I see this time and time again with my clients. Oh, I didn't see any parasites in my enema, or I didn't see any release, or I only got 2 gallstones out. And this kind of attachment to those things, I feel, can be dangerous. And it's really important to just be really kind of forgiving to ourselves and know that these things take time. I've been detoxing for more than 10 years, and only 2 years ago did I release like a really big parasite for the first time that I was like, okay, that's a parasite. And also with the liver flushes as well, it takes time to start to see things come out. So it's good to manage those expectations and important to know that you might need to do a couple of cleanses before you start to see something come out and to really get that feeling of release.
Yes, absolutely. In your experience with detoxing, what would you say to somebody who's just starting?
Yeah, I mean, I work with a lot of women that have severe constipation, so they can't go to the toilet. They've maybe been doing enemas for like the whole year, sometimes 2, 3 years, and they're extremely dependent on taking herbs and things just to go to the toilet. And when I first told them about ZenCleanz, they actually get really scared. Like, what if it gets stuck? What if it doesn't come out? Especially with the liver flush, because they've read all these things online, and there's a lot of fear. And that's why I'm really recommending these products, is because they're very natural and they're very safe and very gentle. But for someone starting out, on their journey, it's really important to take it slow, because when you detox the body, you're not just detoxing your body, you're detoxing your spirit, your soul, all your emotions, and so much comes out. So when I first went straight into detox, all of these traumas from the past started to surface, all of this pain. And that's because when we eat food, we're swallowing down our emotions and we hide it in every crevice and corner of our bodies. So when we start releasing, sometimes we don't feel good because we're actually releasing a lot of pain that we've been holding in our bodies. So my advice for people starting out is to really take it slow, be gentle, ensure you have the spaciousness to do the cleanse, time to integrate, because the weeks afterwards, a lot can continue to move through and release as well.
Your journey, like starting before enzymes, what would you say is like has changed the most?
Yeah, I mean, I feel what's most beautiful about finding enzyme-based products for detox with is you don't have to be detoxing all the time, as you can eat more food. Like I was permanently living on no fat, basically just fruits and vegetables, because if I ate anything else, I would feel so sick, bloated, and uncomfortable. And as I started to move, and I worked with other enzymes before I found ZenCleanz, and enzymes changed my life. And that's why I kind of went to eating more raw foods, because they're full of enzymes, and that's what really I found healed my body. But then you find ZenCleanz, which is 3 years of fermented enzymes that are just power packed. So they're just one of the most profound products I've ever seen on the market. And most people I find that come to work with me have tried all the different detoxes, all the different products, and then you put them on ZenCleanz, and the feedback continues to be, this is the best thing I've ever tried. I haven't had one person tell me they've had a bad experience yet. So, I mean, I wish I could do a ZenCleanz every week if I had the time for it and the money, they're profound. So, yeah.
What was like the biggest thing that you noticed changed after your cleanses, like physically?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with the colon cleanse, the biggest thing that I noticed afterwards was just how light I felt. I felt more happy, more joy, more bliss. It really just felt like it moved something within me that had been stuck, which other products just weren't able to get to. And I just really, really felt it literally eating away at something old that was stuck. So for me, it was just that feeling of lightness afterwards, and that extra spring in my step, and just feeling more vitality was the biggest kind of impact for me.
For a while. Did you notice any changes in your cycle after your liver cleanse?
Yeah, definitely. After basically since I had COVID, I was experiencing really uncomfortable periods for quite some time. And it meant that I had to dive deeper into detoxing my liver. And since I started to do more liver flushing and cleansing, what I've noticed is that my periods have become lighter and more comfortable, especially immediately afterwards. So I noticed a direct correlation between liver cleansing and the way that my blood would look. It was completely different texture, consistency, and there's a direct correlation between that. So I think for women, detoxing the liver is essential. 90% of women are estrogen dominant, which is what's creating heavy periods, clotting, all of those things. So that we need to detox the liver in order to detox the estrogen out of our bodies. So that's pretty much one of the biggest game changers for women, is starting to look at their liver, which most of them have never even done a cleanse or even considered the relationship between their cycles and their liver. So
do you have any advice for a woman just starting out with the cleanses?
Yeah, I mean, for a woman that's starting out with doing the cleanses for the first time, there is an optimal time of your cycle to do a liver cleanse. If you do a liver cleanse right before you bleed, it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable. If you do it after your bleed, so in the follicular phase or around ovulation, this is the best time to do it, as you're naturally less hungry, the body's stronger, you have more energy, and then you're actually preparing yourself for when you do bleed. So around ovulation is when the body wants to detox the excess estrogen. So if we work on the liver at that point, it's going to really give you a beautiful journey. We've then got the next 2 weeks after that to kind of filter it through. So
which
yeah,
is great.
a lot of women actually bleed with the new moon, and our period already is detox. We're releasing heavy metals and we're already detoxing out of the body. And if we are also doing a cleanse, it can sometimes be too much for the body. So it's good to work with the cycle and detox at the optimal time. I find I get far greater results if it's anywhere from days, probably 8 to 13, 14 for me is best.
That times up perfectly with my next cleanse this weekend. I think I'll be like on day 9. So that'll be great. Yeah, I think that's a great experience.
I'd love to know if you have a better experience, because your digestion and metabolism as a woman is actually changing. So that's why during this phase it's better, because your metabolism is much higher, but you're not feeling as hungry. So and then it switches. Sorry, it's the other way around. It's your metabolism is, I forget, but they basically switch. Your metabolism switches. And so you'll notice as soon as you kind of hit the luteal phase after ovulation, you'll wake up and you'll be more hungry. So they say you need to eat more calories during that time. So if you're detoxing and not eating, the body can actually go into starvation during that phase, because the body's hoping to get pregnant or waiting to be pregnant or even thinks that it's pregnant. So if you do a detox at that time, the body can really hold on to everything, being like scared that it might lose the baby. And then you're not going to release as much as well. But in the other phase, the body's like, doesn't think it's pregnant, it feels safe, it feels free. So it's more open to releasing and letting go as well.
See, that's wild. I feel like I just learned something totally new. That's fascinating. I feel like there's so much we can learn that we're not educated on with cycles, and how to time it.
Lost wisdom. It's not being studied. All health research has been studied on men. So when you go to a doctor, it's based on a male body. So they don't consider these things with women's health because they just simply don't know. So it's up to us to kind of learn and share this wisdom, because it's been suppressed for a long time.
So it's
an intense journey. I was on it for 10 years and I tried to come up at 5 different times, and it was just so hard. I went back on it, but eventually I just did it, and it was tough. So I feel you.
Yeah. And when you do get off of it, you're like, okay, I'm going to have this awareness that maybe I've never had before on what this was actually doing to my system and why it was acting this way. So
it changed my whole life. I was attracted to different men, different experiences. I didn't want to work in my job anymore. My whole personality was different being on the pill. So coming off it was a huge transition and change, and like, oh, this is who I am without taking this substance. So
yeah, it's what do you do to create a better self and a better world? Because I feel like if you don't first find what creates a better you, then how can you create a better world around you? But once you have that alignment, like, it can ripple out in so many different ways.
Yeah. Firstly, I love what you just shared about, you changing the genetic line. I believe that's truly possible. And, as women, when we give birth, we pass on all of our toxins to the child. So for me, it's really motivating to detox. So when I do become a mother, I'm not going to pass on all my crap to them, because a lot of women say after they've given birth to their first child, they feel amazing. And that's because they're getting all the stuff out of their bodies. So that's very motivating. And I think one reason why detoxing will change the world, that the children coming to this earth can be purer, brighter beings, more connected to themselves, not being born with diseases in their bodies, because that's what they've inherited. So that, for me, is probably one of the biggest motivators for detoxing my body and sharing detox with other people and helping women to purify their bodies so we can have a more beautiful place to live. So